you, madam, I think it's episode 2. We are in Ghana.
3.
And 3. Okay, episode 3 of Snowfall. We are in the motherland, and I recognized the castle because I was there.
Yes.
Were you had to be there? You
had to be there. That is not CGI. They did not green screen that. We actually flew to Ghana. We actually went to Elmina Castle, to Cape Coast Castle. Yes.
Now, did you, because it had to be in the script, had you ever been to Ghana before?
I've been to Ghana. My brother lives over there. He has the nonprofit Habesha, helping Africa by establishing schools home and abroad. So
slow down, Gail. Slow down. Let's first of all give your brother some love.
Yes.
What is his name?
My brother's name is Kashawn Myers.
Okay. And how did he end up there?
So my brother we're all from here. So he graduated of Redan High School, but he went to FAMU undergrad and Howard postgrad. So, grad school. And with traveling, he just became more intrigued with ourselves, with the motherland, with Africa, and trying to fully understand things that were not taught in K through 12, but, at HBCUs, they start to dive and develop and help enlarge our territory by teaching us some of these things. So he became very interested and he wanted to travel back. So he traveled all over Africa, and he felt like Ghana was what felt most familiar and felt most like home. And they were very welcoming, they were very inviting, and it was just such a safe space. So he chose to decide that's where he wanted to go back to and build a home and have his headquarters for his foundation, his nonprofit. And I swear it has introduced our whole family to it. Our family reunion in 2024 is going to be in Ghana. So he's always invited us, him, his wife, his kids, my sister Siobhan, my niece and nephews. They live there. And we went, our first time going was 2016. I worked for the airline, so I was able to fly over there for only $300 round trip.
Come on, airlines, buddy pass.
Exactly.
All of that.
Yes. So that was beautiful. So my first introduction to Ghana was 2016, and I loved it so much that I went back every year until COVID, of course.
I went right before COVID, and then I couldn't stop talking about it because, to your point, it's always the people. And I feel like, many of us have been taught to not be connected. Yeah. But we can't even help it. It's not just the skin tone. There's something very spiritual in the connection. And you're right. Beautiful people, amazing people. I flew to Kumasi, had Christmas dinner at somebody's house in Kumasi, and it was beautiful. Shout out to Nana Yao. Shout out to Michelle Yaboa. They met me. This is how dope it is. People that I just met flew to Africa to meet me when I got there, and we hung out for the whole time. It was amazing. And I didn't do the normal stuff. So I went backyard. I guess they would call it something different, but where they have the market in the back. Yeah. And I went and hung out with the bead people and the folk making all of the stuff. And, of course you're going to do the castle. So you had done the castle before. I'm imagining
every time that I've gone, because when I go back, I typically take someone with me. So when you went in 2019, we might've been there at the same time, because I went December 2019
for Afrochella.
Yes, that was my first time ever going to Afrochella. I said, okay, now I've been, but I want to go to Afrochella. I want to experience it because I don't really do the festival things. I've never gone to Coachella, but I said, I gotta go. And it was just a blast. So yeah, I did. Yeah. I've done the all of the local stuff because they've been living over there. Before they were doing 6 months in Africa, and Sean and his family were doing 6 months here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. But after their second son graduated from high school, they decided to just stay there year round. And mainly because of COVID, they didn't come back because they didn't want to get stuck in the States. So they just stayed.
Wow. Think about that. They didn't want to get stuck in the United States of America.
Correct. They just got their citizenship. So they're now dual citizens. My sister-in-law, Siobhan Myers, she has a citizenship because she was born in Guyana. So now she has citizenship in 3 different countries.
3 passports is a dream. Y'all, so Gail Bean, so you were kind of an ambassador for the Snowfall for Leon and them.
Oh, yeah. I was like, let's go. We got to do it. If we're going to do it right. But you never know. You hope and you pray like, yeah, let's go to Ghana. It almost got cut out because of expenses. It got cut down from, so episode 3 was originally, I think we had about 35 pages worth of script, right? With us over just that. Episode 3 was supposed to be the Leon and Wanda episode. But to go over to Africa to film over there, it was just so expensive, and they had to cut it down to about 10 pages. We were supposed to be there for 3 to 4 weeks. We did it in about 5 to 6 days.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. We even
it was beautiful. Wow. It was beautiful. I smiled inside, and I in my mind, I was like, Walter Mosley had something to do with this. But now I know Gail Bean has something. So who wrote, like, it was beautiful?
Walter was the writer of that episode. He went over there with us. He, so many people advocated and pushed for keeping Ghana in, especially even the director. And we weren't sure how it was going to happen, but we were just so blessed that they said, okay, we're going to go and we're going to take the audience with us. Because so many times, we reference locations, but we don't actually film there. And not Snowfall, but in the entertainment industry. We may not actually film there. So to go to take the audience, and then there's so many people like yourself who've actually been to Ghana who are like, oh, I know that place. No, they're really there. Macola Market, everybody asked, did you guys really go? Are those extras? Are they this? Are they that? Is that set deck? I said, listen, you cannot set deck Ghana. It's just, it's impossible. The castles, the slave dungeons, you can't recreate that. You have to do it, and you have to do it right so it can have the full effect, the lasting effect, the marriage on the beach, on Elmina Beach, or like all of that. It was it was an experience. And I was happy to be there and witness other people's first experience there.
Who bugged out? Because people break down when you go in that castle, especially the one at the castle where they have that room where they stuff people and just left them there to die, who were trying to escape or they piled the men into this one room, and you could still smell the carnage, and it's been hundreds of years, but you could still smell the waste. You could still smell it, and then when you go into the doorway of no return, and I'm 5'10", hefty, I'm like, I don't know how my ancestors squeezed through that little tiny opening to get to the boats, but it's emotional. If you think about it, who had the biggest reaction?
It is. So in the scene that we shoot in the dungeons, you see myself and Isaiah, who plays Leon, but then you see a bunch of other Ghanaians because they hired local authentic Ghanaians to play those parts, telling the story. And they had been there before. But Isaiah, that was his very first time in Ghana. That was his very first time in the slave dungeons. And it was just so heavy. I mean, he was so overwhelmed that he was sad that, one, we couldn't stay longer, but 2, we shot some of the later episodes before actually shooting this episode 3. He was like, this is insane. I would have approached Leon's return back a little differently. Like, I knew about his son, but this impact, just even seeing. So it was nice to be able to witness someone's first reaction, because it's been so long. It's been so many years since mine. Now, it was still heavy for me and I was still overwhelmed. But for someone who his mindset of it was so far from that, but it was so great for his character. So I was just, he was overwhelmed. And then, of course, the crew, our director was the only other crew member from LA. Most people came up from South Africa or were already in Ghana. So the crew there a lot of them had already known. But Isaiah was definitely overwhelmed. He could not believe it.
That episode was a juxtaposition of the streets in South Central being destroyed, the Africa. I mean, it was back and forth, which I thought was powerful. I was like, whoever did this is like brilliant. And then there's the decision to go back. And your character, Wanda, is like, what? No, we don't need to. Why are we doing this? Why are we going back? Why do we have to go back?
We're going back when we know, at this point now, too, we've come to Africa, we've come to Ghana. We know what's over there. So that's not foreign. Like, why do we have to go back into the war zone to fix it? Like, and I think with Wanda, she's feeling that it's so broken that it can't be fixed. That's something that you just have to allow it to destroy itself and let it lay and leave. Because I think Wanda already knew it was going to only get worse before not that it could never get better, but it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Right. Well, she was right.
Yeah.
All right. So spoiler alert for those of you who spoiler alert. Mr. Joseph delivered he's been delivering from the door.
Yes.
What's your relationship with him? He plays Unc. Yes.
Eamon Joseph plays Uncle Jerome
on
Snowfall, and he's phenomenal as an actor, a Black man, a husband, a father, a friend. He's given me so much advice in this industry. When P-Valley came about, it was him who I called and asked questions on how to even approach getting Snowfall to allow me to say yes to do it. I contact him for so many times when it comes to my career moves, and I've had the pleasure of speaking on ethnicity and inclusion, diversity panels with him. And he's just all around an amazing person, pours into me as a human being, as a friend, and just his talent is unmatched.
Oh my goodness. So I just tweeted, because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody, that it was Louie's fault.
It is.
That was it. And it was her fault, all of it. This whole everything. And I feel like it gets this way with us, where some of us is never enough. Mm-hmm. Like the greed is like, it's never enough. 2, B, we can't work together at some point. We argue, fuss, and fight, but we can't figure out how to
make it work.
I may not like you, but we got a common, goal. Let's come together no matter what. And it's got to be us no matter what. You ain't got to like me, but we got to work together. We can't seem to do that in real life. And I was like, this is just playing out the way it would play out. And then you see at the end, when people finally come together, it's too late.
It's too late. And then what I was so upset with the auntie, because she still hasn't seen, which is real life. There's so many times we go through things and we still don't take accountability or responsibility. I'm not just talking about Black women. I'm talking about us in general, like people in general, where it's like, you really want to blame every single person, even now in the midst of it. What? It's never going to change because you're not taking accountability.
Yes. Now, if you were Franklin, mm-hmm. because partially the reason why she got snatched because he let out, but while she's out there with the horses, still like as if chick. There's people on your head.
Like, I know you got to clear your mind, but you better clear it indoors.
Somewhere else, not on the horse. All right. So she got that scene. I had to actually fast forward because I could not watch what was happening to her in real time, even though I was mad at her at the same time, because I'm a human being. So I was like, I don't want to watch what's about to happen. And they brought the pimp in. I was like, this is getting too real. What is going on? I think he's a pimp, right? He's pimp, yes. World-class pimp. And then comes the rescue. And I was like, okay. And so how many more episodes do we have of this roller coaster? Damn it. 4 more? Okay. 4 more. I'm sticking with it. I just need to know if you can tell me, does Wanda make it to the end? I just need to know if you can you tell us?
She has an ending.
Okay, damn it. You know what, Gail Bean? All right. So let me ask you.
I can't say if she makes it to the end or not, but I will say Wanda has an ending, and I had to make my peace with it.
Oh, okay. That character's story arc went from being handcuffed to a sink in the bathroom and doing all kinds of things to becoming the soul and the conscious of South Central LA on so many levels. And I love to watch that. Okay. Damson Idris. Is that how we say that? Damson. I had the pleasure to talk with him. He's lovely. He's smart. He's all of the things. I just read somewhere that he was dating and then broke up with Lauren Harvey, and I was asking myself out loud, is she this generation superhead? But I'm not sure, minus the sex part. But like everybody wanted to date super, because I used to ask people, I'm just putting it out there, I used to ask, I did the book, and I used to ask men, because I have a lot of male friends, would you sleep with superhead? And everyone said yes. And I was like, but everyone slept with her. And they were like, but I just want to know if it's true. So it's sort of like the intrigue, right? Everyone wants to know, is it that good? I want to know firsthand. So I feel like people want to date her just to see if it's worth it. So,
I've never had sexual relations with her, so I wouldn't know why, but she is very beautiful. And I'm not necessarily sure different people have different reasons as to why they may pursue a person or not. So I think it's just, she's very beautiful. So it could.
Isn't that relative though, Gail Bean? Is that relative? Is it relative?
I mean, I don't know. That's just the observation that I do notice. Like,
is she beautiful? Because everyone says she's beautiful. I don't know. It's like I asked this question because beauty. We've been conditioned. In many ways, this is a conditioning, right? So you get the finest men. Because I think Damson Idris is fine. I think Michael B. Jordan body is fine. I think there's a lot of you're like, wow, Puffy and his son. How? It's a lot, right? Allegedly. I don't know what the truth is. I stay out of people's business by and large, but I just find it fascinating because you're on a show with Damson, who also was with Chloe. So I'm watching Swarm, and I'm like, this Damson guy is so tell me about him. I will
say, by the way, Swarm was really phenomenal. I've been watching it. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about my co-stars' personal lives because I try to keep
mind your business and drink your water
and personal separate to where I don't get into theirs. But I knew about the relationship. I didn't know that, like, you've updated me by saying that they're no longer together. I
just read that. I don't know if it's true. It's Friday, so I really don't care. Yes.
He's phenomenal. Like, he's always treated me with respect. He's always moved in a way to where he carries himself in the highest regard and is very mindful about how he moves. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Him and her together, I thought was amazing. I felt like it was great for Snowfall as well. She was very supportive. My first time meeting her, like I said, in person, was at the Snowfall premiere. She was very beautiful. We had a brief conversation. He told me, she was a fan. So I was like, in turn too, I think she's great. I love what she's doing with taking the attention that she has and creating avenues for herself and bringing it to business and using that to elevate herself as a businesswoman. So that's what I know, but I haven't really, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had time to find out and know everything. When I found out about Lori, I was happy for him. I try to stay minding my business, girl.
I see that. Okay. All right. We'll move on. And I don't want to capture you because this is not one of them shows where I'm trying to get you to say something because I don't. I was just, since you had it. And Damson, in terms of his acting skills, I think he's in this generation's top 5. Like, that man has range.
Yes. When I see him on Swarm, the work he did, because Swarm, for those who know, I think his character name was Khalid. Khalid and Franklin, night and day. Night and day. And it was very beautiful just to see him drop into that dirt bag of a boyfriend. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, because we see him be so great to these women on Snowfall, right? To his mother, to his aunt at the time, and to V, to Melody, to Nashe, to all of these women, and they take advantage of him. To actually see him play the polar opposite, it was just a beautiful comparison and nice to see him in the light.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The thing you're gonna miss the most, because I know, and let's go all the way back. We're talking with Gail Bean, the Gail Bean, Snowfall, P-Valley, and a host of other things. I think roles are going to be written for you because you also have a sickening range. You talked about the manifestation of getting this role. I watched, a few interviews that you've done, meeting John Singleton, knowing that you're like, he was in your class. He came and showed up in one of your professor's classes. And you were like, I'm going to work with this man. He's now an ancestor, rest his soul. For you to be on the set with him, talk about something that we don't know about John Singleton that you experienced with him before he passed.
John Singleton is such a profound Black man, and we know that, but I don't think we know the levels and the depths of how he will not allow himself to be set up, how he is. So we saw Jackie Robinson, right? You seen 24? And all of the things that he dealt with but he had to suppress his anger and learn how to, I'm sorry, 42.
42. I was like, wait, hold on.
No.
But you know what? I was actually Google searching because I didn't realize that John Singleton produced that. I was like,
no, he didn't. But
okay.
I'm saying in the movie 42, we see how Jackie Robinson deals with some of the aggression and some of the attacks on himself, just being someone in an entertainment field where he's overcoming barriers and challenges and succeeding. So John endured the same thing, but we didn't see it because he didn't allow his anger to control him, and he continued to progress in such a beautiful way that he would leave the door open for us, for the Ryan Cooglers, for, you know, the Damsons, the Michael Hyatts, the Angelas, the Amons, the Gails, the Isaiahs, the Devons. So we didn't see all of that he struggled with and he battled in order to prepare and lay a foundation for us. So we did see all his accolades, right? We saw the Boys in the Hood go on to be something amazing. We seen Poetic Justice. We seen all of the things that he directed and produced and wrote. But I would say what I loved most about him is how he was able to smile and look anger and challenges in the face and still remain that poised leader for the Black person.
I'm gonna say it shows through in Snowfall. You know, I struggle sometimes with the depictions of us, right? Because, you know, they're very limited and they follow tropes, you know, and to tell the story of the rise of crack in South Central LA during this period of time, you know, with all of the violence and everything, to find characters that have moral standard, whether we're talking about Franklin's mom, whether we're talking about Franklin's dad, whether we're talking about Jerome, in many ways, you know, he didn't want to do it, but his loyalty to his wife and his love for her kept him doing something that inherently wasn't something he really even wanted to do, but he was going to be there no matter what for her. And I was like, that, you know, we don't see those themes play out. Everyone's kind of black and white. And there's so much gray, even your relationship with Leon, even that, and the evolution of your characters.
People they wanted, okay, he should have, Jerome should have left Louis, or he should have not went against the family. But what I love about John is he does right to the truth. This is truth. People, I saw them say, you know, Leon should have left Wanda. Of course, now you see they keep bringing up that Wanda was a crackhead. You went to Africa with a crackhead, you came back with a, so these are things that realistically, people may not write. They may not write that truth because they want to try to control the narrative and the story. And it's, oh, well, this looks so bad. But this is true. These are things that happen. And I love that he didn't shy away from it. John never shied away from the truth. And then another thing he always did is he gave people opportunities that others may not, no matter what color you were. There's so many people there. He would hire people that were looking for a job and really wanted to change his life fresh out of jail. People who he may meet on the street that walk up and, hey, what y'all doing filming over here? And he would tell them. So he always gave opportunities and created spaces for us to see one another as humans, no matter what race we were, what ethnicity, what gender, what sexuality. And he wanted to uplift and be responsible for like our growth, our legend that we end up creating, our legacies.
It carries. Where were you when you found out he made transition?
I was in LA on set that when I found out that he passed. We were shooting the Wanda and Melody scene at the Rock House where she hit me in the head with a gnome. That was that day when we found out that he had passed that morning. So we had to just really say, okay. And that was before we even shot. So I was sitting there with skates on and they called a meeting. All of the crew, the showrunner was there, and me and Rain Edwards, our director of that episode, Alonzo Alvarez. And that's when they let us know that he had passed.
What impact did that have? And who picked up the baton?
Damson came in and let us know that he picked up the baton as the leader to let us know that it's going to continue on. We will not drop the ball in his absence because he is still very present in all of us, and that we have to do what John set out to do. We have to finish what John set out, which is making this something great, keeping to the truth. And now the excitement, the torch that John carried, we all are responsible for it. We don't know when at the time, we didn't know when it would stop. We didn't know we would go 6 seasons. We were on season 3. And all we knew is everything that we had in us that we were giving, now maximize that. Because now you have everything John poured into you. He left us with the recipe, you know? He literally left us with, he would sit and talk to us. He would come to set every single day. He would talk about the show. He would talk about his life. He would talk about LA, talk about our talents, talk about our futures and how he saw us and how great we were. So he instilled everything that we needed to go on and survive and be successful in his absence and still have his presence with us. So Damson had to talk with us. Our showrunner had to talk with us. And Dave Andron was really just like, you know, it's now up to us. Nobody will be responsible for John's legacy flourishing or faulting other than us. So what are you going to do with that responsibility?
Well, y'all have all shown up in a big way. I'm sad the last 4 episodes will mean it's done, but I know, you know, that will carry on because it is masterful. And okay, I'm gonna need a couple of things to happen. Okay, I'm gonna need Mama Saint. I'm gonna need her to have a moment. I'm gonna need her because she also Michael can act. Okay,
that season opener, her monologue.
Child. Emmys. Y'all need to stop playing with these awards and give people their due. But yes, I'm looking forward. I'm gonna need her to have another moment. I'm gonna need Teddy to go away permanently. I'm gonna need Teddy to go ahead. Every time I see that man,
I need that.
Well, Franklin made a promise. I'm gonna need him to honor his promise to my man. And I'm gonna need a few other things to happen. I'm gonna need Wanda to stay alive, and I'm gonna need Leon and Wanda to go back to Africa and enjoy their happy lives. That's what I'm gonna need. I do actually. I'm very needy. Gail Bean. Okay. Last thing. P-Valley, new season. I know you're in it because what happened the last episodes of. I know you're coming back because you are doing some things.
Now.
Roulette. You are off the chain in that. Yes. Nothing. Can you tell us anything about the new season?
So we have not gotten any scripts. They're currently in the writer's room. I do know that. I do know they're working diligently, and I'm hearing that it is fire. Katori told me personally, she got a lot of stuff for Roulette. She cannot wait to share. We have not started back filming. I believe we will start in the summer, contingent upon this writer's director strike. So I do know that.
Okay.
I do know it's going to be real good.
Now, how are you staying in shape, madam? What are you doing? Because you know, y'all basically butt ass naked. Huh?
I just came off a 4-day juice cleanse. I did nothing for 4 days but juice and water, fresh juice and water. I'm about to start back my polling. I for the whole month of January, I did nothing but workouts every single day at 6 a.m. I'm not drinking alcohol at all. So I'm on the right track.
Okay. All right. And that's all you. Okay. I guess that's good enough. Cause you know, I was watching the show called, All the Queen's Men. I think it's called, I call it Big Dicks and Bad Acting. But so there's the first season, there's a guy on there. He's very handsome, but he was like, he had like muffin tops and all of this, but he must've seen himself. Cause he was like, this season, I'm like, oh, homie's in the gym. You know, it's like, it's a whole different thing.
I'm gonna have some weight because one thing polling does, it makes me drop weight. So it's very hard to keep any weight on. And I want to have some ass. So
okay.
I'm gonna be in the gym. I'm gonna have my weights, but I'm also gonna be on the pole.
All right. And what else is coming your way, Gail Bean?
We got a little project. I can't announce yet. I gotta wait for them to announce it, but it is major. I've already signed the contract, so we're just waiting for them to drop the studio to drop the announcement, and then I'm gonna talk about it from the mountaintops to everybody. I'm definitely gonna talk about it with you.